Hello and what is up, guys? Welcome back to some more automation. It's Rye here. Today we are doing something a bit more modern than the previous videos. I think we did 1960s, 80s, 90s. We could jump to the 2000s, but I think we're gonna do the 2010s or maybe even like a 2020, just because it's a little bit more little more new, obviously. What we're doing today is making a Roadster in automation, and we're gonna take it for a drive in BeamNG Drive after. So make sure to stick around for that. Let us start here. So what my idea was I'd say 2018, just to be even. I don't want to say 2020, or 2019 actually. It's not 2018. I want a 2019 Roadster, so like a modern production Roadster, like a Mazda Miata. So what a Roadster is just a two-door, two-seater. Yeah, I guess there could be a 2+2 Roadster, but yeah, a modern Roadster, just a two-seater. Open top convertible, soft top convertible, obviously, no hard tops here. Two-seater convertible, lightweight is the biggest key here, so we're looking for a really lightweight. I want a Mazda Miata competitor, and I guess a Fiat 124, Arthur Fiat 124, which is the same thing. So I want to compete against those things. I want to be better than those things at a decent cost too. So I want to stick, if we can, around like 40 grand, which is around what they're worth, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure what units of money this is, but yeah, around 40 grand, around a high 100s horsepower. So it's not gonna be a crazy speed demon. It's gonna be light. It's gonna be good for a lot of fun, to drive. Hopefully for me at least. I don't have the keyboard, but maybe it'll be fun or not. Well, I guess we'll see. So first thing we're gonna choose here is the small. I think is there a smaller body in this? We have a couple options, body options here. We could do something like a Porsche body. I don't really think Porsche body. We can do this. It's a little old though for days. I guess we're gonna have to go for the modern one just because it's there and it's the newest one. It looks good too. We're gonna do a 2009 body. We're gonna do 2019, or should we just do 2020? Might as well just do 2020. So it's a soon to be in production. So next year, lightweight two-seater Roadster. Partial aluminum panel construction, so it's gonna be lightweight aluminum. It's gonna be expensive. Not crazy expensive, but not a $20,000 car. Maybe there's a $20,000 version coming. I don't know. This is what they have for now. Monocoque chassis, so a unibody. Everything's gonna be a one-piece construction here. Chassis material. Now I'm thinking light AHS steel. Nothing like glued aluminum is light, obviously, but it's gonna be a bit more expensive. And we're gonna cut costs where we can. The car itself isn't gonna wait time. I'm hoping for 2,400 pounds. I want it to look, look more aggressive than it is like a Mazda Miata. It looks, more angry than it actually can perform. Like in a straight line, of course, on a track of Mazda Miata is actually really good. Front engine longitudinally mounted because it's gotta be rear-wheel drive. You can't have a Roadster, a proper, British, it's like a British Roadster, I guess, rear-wheel drive. Suspension, double wishbone, because it needs to be, sporty, obviously, and multi-link in the rear. So not a cheap suspension setup. This is probably almost, I'm not sure what the Miata has. It's definitely got links somewhere. Maybe it's McPherson's. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what suspension the Miata has, which is like the basis of what any Roadster is ever going to be based on in the future. So we'll go back here for a second. So double wishbone in the front, multi-link suspension in the rear. We'll keep the sliders the same. Try to keep it around. I'd say I'm hoping to get 35 to 45 grand. If it's less than 35, awesome. I think the Miata starts at, like, in Canada at least, like high 20s Canadian. I'm in Canada, obviously I sound Canadian, eh? So high 20s Canadian for a Mazda Miata, maybe low 30s. I don't know, this is going to compete against that. It's a premium. Inline 4, now we have two options. I'm thinking either a flat 4 for, low weight distribution, so the center of gravity is going to be lower in the car than an inline engine. A Boxer 4, a Boxer 6, inline 4, or V6. Those are my four options here. This is a tough one. I think we're gonna do a Boxer 4. It's a quirky, it's a Subaru Miata. I'm not really sure. You got the Subaru BRZ Toyota 86. Maybe they're making a Roadster based off it. I don't know. The aluminum, because every engine in 2020 is probably aluminum. Don't any engine that's really cast iron anymore besides like a truck engine, really. Not much. Definitely aluminum silicone. Is it aluminum silicone? I think so. Or magnesium. It's definitely gonna be aluminum. We won't touch this yet. We'll play with it a bit. Dual invert cam, 4 valves, which we do have 5 valves. Of course, it's more expensive, but it's gotta have some unique features. Now, all aluminum. DVL it's gonna have. We're gonna change the bore and stroke here. We're gonna make it less of a stroke and more of a bore. So what this is gonna allow us to do, it's gonna be again, bigger stroke means more torque, also a lot more weight. You know, bigger stroke means more weight, typically more weight than a bigger bore. We're gonna have a short stroke, so it's gonna be, you know, it's not gonna move up and down a lot. It's just gonna be a big piston, relatively big piston. I think we're gonna do, what does the Miata have, a 1.8 liter? I think we'll do a 1.7 liter just to beat them a bit. 1.7 exactly, because there we go, because I have to have exact numbers here. 1.7 liter, 3.528 inches stroke, or yeah, stroke, no, bore, what am I talking about? And 2.654 inches stroke. I don't really use inches, I'm Canadian. We use centimeters, I guess, but you know, no one in Canada really uses centimeters. I don't use centimeters, I always use inches. I use inches, I use cubic centimeters, not cubic inches. I don't know who would use cubic inches nowadays. If you notice, actually, in this whole thing, I use a mix. If you go to settings here, I use a mix. Measurements, we can't change measurements, of course. I use a mix of imperial and metric measurements, just because, I don't know, where I'm from, you just use both, you know. We'll leave this all cast iron for now. It'll probably be upgraded a bit. I want it to rev pretty high. 8,000, 9,000. It's gonna have some retaining features, right? It's gonna sound good. Leave all the stock for now. Injection, direct injection per cylinder. Just the basic of most modern cars. I mean, I wish there was an option for direct and multi-point. So like a 2 injection system, so you wouldn't have, you know, carbon buildup like you do with most or lots of direct injection engines. So the difference between multi-point and direct. So EFI is electronic fuel injection, obviously. Multi-point. The biggest difference between multi-point and direct is multi-point, so it's spraying into the intake. So it goes, you know, into the intake, into the engine. Whereas direct injection bypasses the intake. So let me actually show some parts here for the engineer. Alpha, can we see close enough here? I mean, I'm not going to teach you 100%. So, yeah, multi-point, it goes onto the intake valves, into the engine. So it cleans the intake valves, keeps, you know, oil or gasoline on them at all times. Where direct injection bypasses the intake valves and just directly gets injected into the cylinders. Pros to direct injection obviously is, you know, you can have a more efficient engine just in general, just gonna be a better performing engine all around, better fuel economy, better performance, less knocking, yada yada yada. Whereas multi-point, the biggest pro is it sprays on the intake runners, which cleans the intakes. So with direct, it bypasses the intakes, and what that means is carbon deposits built up on the intakes. So, you know, that might not sound bad, and it's not at first. You know, for the first while, you're not gonna have any issues with carbon buildup. As you get more kilometers or miles in your car, or what have you, then you're gonna have a lot more carbon building up, and then your car's not gonna perform as much because not as much air can get in the engine because the intake will be blocked off by carbon deposit. Then you have to either walnut blast it or seafoam it or however you want to, you know, chisel it off, however you want to clean your intake. With direct injection, that's one of the issues. It's not really prevalent in this game. It doesn't really matter in this game. It's just better. We'll keep going now. Performance intake. Nothing crazy. Races probably out of the question. Premium gas. It's a premium vehicle. Tubular headers to start. Look at that. Carbon fiber. I like that. It seems unrealistically expensive, but it looks good. Dual oh, I was gonna tweak it in dual exhaust for an inline 4. No, this is a flat 4. A single exhaust for now. Bypass valves, yes. And full exhaust. We might take off a muffler just so it sounds nicer. That just sounds awesome. I love the sound of a flat 4. 9,000 RPM, just like I wanted. And now we're having a problem with valve float. Let's increase the cam. Oh, super. Increase the cam profile to 90 to start. Keep the cam profile at 40. So the cam lobes are at 40. And they lift to 90 after what? After 4700 RPM. That's pretty good. Let's increase 10, which is pretty low for a modern engine. But let's see, you know, ideally it's gonna get good gas mileage too. I want to make it realistic. Good gas mileage are pretty good because it's a light car. Obviously, 170 horse is already pretty good. Torque is definitely lacking. Can't do much for torque that way without turbochargers. And I don't want a turbo one. It's gonna be a Revy engine. That's gonna be, you know, the positives. Oh, we can do 100 ignition. Hey, look, dual exhaust is actually losing us performance. If I take off a muffler, the emissions. Oh, the emissions. No, that's material cost. Where are the emissions? Am I blind? Oh, am I was here or not? Oh, emissions value. Oh wait, it didn't actually change. Well, let's just do sand. Let's just do sand. You think that'd help a tiny bit? Sounds good. Almost sounds like a motorcycle. I like that. It's good. It's good. It's gonna be a good gas mileage there. 27% efficiency, which is good. I think we're actually gonna increase the conversion. 170. I want even numbers for horsepower and torque. We'll go for 180 horse maybe. Yeah, 180 horse, 125 torque. So terrible torque. It's very gutless. But the torque curve is. This is a bad dip right here, but the torque curve is pretty smooth. Fix this dip actually. So it's actually increase the compressions. So it's actually a little less efficient, just because the camber level is a little higher. Now this is a smooth torque curve. So it's linear power, which is what you want. You don't want to have a dip. Flaps, which will also help with the fuel economy just a bit. Adds weight, add money, etc. Definitely not going to be a 5-seater. 2-seater only. Sporty interior, even though it costs a lot more than standard and stuff. But sporty interior. Basic infotainment, I'm thinking probably. You know, the point of this car is not to listen to the radio. You're going to have the roof down anyways. So there's no, you don't need. I was contemplating when I started this, having no power steering. That's not realistic, you know. You'd save a bit of weight having no power steering. I think just hydraulic, not variable hydraulic. You get one drive mode. You just get sport. That's all you get. You don't need anything else. It's a sports car. It's a Roadster, right? ESC and launch control. Best safety, obviously. We can't compromise on that. And 2 options here: progressive or active sport. Pros and cons, of course. Active sport's better in every way, except for weight. That's why we're gonna go progressive, semi-active. Active, and I'll show you the weight. So 2,900 pounds. Oh. Yeah, 50 pounds difference. It's not terrible. Now, looking at everything first, we are overweight for sure. Fuel economy is pretty good. Average is 31 miles per gallon. You know, the acceleration is pretty good too. Now what we're gonna do quickly here, I'm just gonna actually fiddle with the body. That'll actually affect weight. So we're at 29.30 something, now we're 29.17. I'll actually just shape the body right now just because this is an important part. It's just the basic shape. It's gonna be a small vehicle that just seems. Okay, that's probably what we're gonna do. Have the chance to go away here. This is actually a pretty heavy thing. Two options. Well, what's the price at? The pricing is 39,000. Okay, so we have a bit of pricing to play with. That's not bad at all. Less than I thought. We're actually gonna go to glued aluminum. 2,700 pounds. That's better. It's not perfect. It's better. What's the pricing on now, though? Actually, it's less. Really? Costs less with glued aluminum? Really? There's the only thing that's bad about it is limited production. I guess we don't want that, do we, eh? Yeah, there's no lighter. There's nothing lighter than the one up here. We can go push rod to save some weight. Good. Let's save a few pounds. It's gonna bring the cost up, right? A little. Push rod's kind of unrealistic though. It's no cars really have push rod in this price point at all. I think we'll do glued aluminum. I mean, the car itself is limited production. Like, I mean, the Miata is a limited production, but you know, I guess we'll think of this as like a boutique Roadster for 40 grand. I don't know who's selling this. I don't know. No one's making it off this. You'd actually make the rear end a little. It's wide. There we go. Okay. What do we do here for 2665 is good, but it's not great yet. We can go 2 piston and lower the back down to 10 probably. Save some weight there. 2650. You can go no infotainment or entertainment, or you can go standard seats. So that's it. Basic seats will take off weight. That's not much. We can go safety. We can lower safety down just a bit. 2550. I think the Miata is about 2600 right now, so that's we can go electric power steering too, but that just that ruins it. Electric power steering for most people. It's fun to drive. I feel the road. We're at 35 mpg from that switch, really. Wow. Maybe we'll just do electric. Not ideal, and we're actually under budget right now, which is great. If we went no infotainment, we can increase the quality here. 40,000. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So, final stat. Actually, we gotta play the top speed and stuff here. I think we'll just limit it to 200. You can do more. I think lots of cars limited to 180 kilometers an hour. So, we'll make the spacing smaller. We don't have any wheel spin to worry about. Shorter gearing's fine. Zero 66.1 is what it's rated for from automation. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more. If we went electric, be better. It does that 500 bucks? Can we afford that? 42 grand. This is a pricey Roadster. Maybe we'll have that. Okay, I think we'll have that. We'll make a concession for that. The specs are okay. I'm not making it for specification and automation. I'm just trying to make a realistic car, in my opinion. 52 sportiness, nice, and 52 drivability, not bad. So fuel economy 35 mpg average, which is great. Probably maybe more. What's the Miata? Miata's gonna be 30 average, right? I gotta check this actually right now. Let's check this right now. Miata fuel economy. Miata fuel economy. It's definitely can't be 30 average. It's in liters per 100 kilometers. Okay, even though I'm Canadian, I just use miles per gallon because that's just what lots of people know. 30 average. With manual 20. No, with the manual. Wait, what is this? It's Yeah, it's 30 average. Okay, 30 average. So we're getting 35 average. Because I'm assuming this is average, right? I'm assuming this is not highway or just, you know, city. I'm assuming it's average. So we get great gas mileage. Our engine's actually bigger or smaller than Miata's. I think it's 1.8 liter. It's got less horsepower, less torque. It's about the same speed, 0 to 60, a little slower probably, nothing crazy. What else? What's the weight distribution? It is 50-50. Oh, first try. I like that. Perfect weight distribution, 50-50. A 4-cylinder, 1.7 liter boxer 4. Great engine, sounds like. It sounds great. Revs to 9,000, which is awesome. Makes the power at almost peak. Rear-wheel drive monocoque. 16 valve, dual overhead cam. Direct injection, no turbos, nothing. Double wishbone multi-link. This is honestly probably the perfect car. It's not, but you know, it's a pretty balanced. I mean, it actually is balanced, but it's a well balanced vehicle between power, performance, cost. You know, as much as everyone's a fan of the Miata, it's a bit better. I'm gonna save it here, and what I'm going to do now is I'm gonna record a time lapse of me actually designing the vehicle. And then after that, we'll take a look at it. You know, and I'll talk about for a minute or two why I designed it, how I did, and whatnot. I try to make, you know, things original, but you know, they could be based off certain designs. This might be a little based off of Miata. It's gonna have to be. Maybe a little based off a Toyota 86. It's gonna have to be. I can't always make up cars off the top of my head. So without further ado, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this short time lapse. And we are back here in automation. Now, before we jump into BeamNG Drive, again, I'm just going to go over the car a bit, talk about, you know, some design elements or whatever of the car, and then we'll go over the car one last bit, and we'll go play it in Drive. Let's start at the front here. Actually, we're going to go back before we we'll go back before we export it first. And we'll take a look at the car. So as you might be able to tell from the time-lapse, it's loosely, you know, there's some components. Of course, the body is, it's an MX-5. You can't deny the body's a Miata. But there are components that are based off of, you know, the Fiat 124 Barth, like the retail is sort of Fiat 124 of Barth, or just Fiat 124, not Fiat Barth, doesn't really matter. Esque. The front end is not really like much. It reminds me, you know, a little bit of a Viper. The headlights are kind of Viper-esque, etc. I really wanted to make, like, you know, a unique front end. I didn't want to copy a Miata or the Fiat 124, the same vehicle. I don't really think there's not really much Roadsters for sale in, you know, North America or Europe. I don't think there's really much. Like the other one, the only cars that are this size even would be what the Alpine or the Alpine, whatever, however you pronounce it, the new coupe, or not new, the newer coupe that they have. I forget what it's called. That I don't think that's a Roadster though. I don't think that's a Roadster. Like, I mean, like the Mustang, you can get it in convertible, but it's not really a Roadster. It's not a Roadster. Roadster two-seater. The Mustang convertible is a two-seat sports car, or a four-seat sports car, or a four-seat pony car. So in front of here we got a lot of intakes, a lot of grills. You know, like I said, I want to make it really aggressive because, again, this thing doesn't have a lot of power, but it has to have the style. And I think it captures that pretty good here. Couple important, you know, parts. The big grill right here stretches all the way across the body. It does stick out. I'm not sure if I like it all that much. It's hard. I couldn't make the front end any more, you know, back. That's fine. I think it looks very aggressive though from the side. Looks incredibly aggressive. Looks like it's a mouth trying to eat something. That's pretty cool. With this, like, you know, front splitter here that goes up into the this thick, long lower grill here. Also have these big side intakes here. We have I guess running lights is what it would be. Yeah, running lights on the car here. Turn signal, of course, there. We have the logo, which this is the logo I'm going to use for all my cars from now on. I don't know why. It just plain. I'd imagine there was something in that, but since we can't actually get anything in there, my theoretical, my made up company name that I have sort of in my head, that I've had this from probably 2 years ago, before I played automation at all, actually, from other games, from Gear City, actually. Maven, M-A-V-E-N. So it'd be the Maven, Squire, Sport. I don't know if Sport would be the trim designation, but whatever. So the Maven, Squire. Doesn't sound that great, but I think Squire is a pretty good name for the model. You know, it sounds prestigious, sounds, you know, kind of be sporty. You don't know what it is, right? Sounds like a small vehicle, right? So 50-50 weight distribution, very short, 152 inches. I actually want to see what the Miata's length is. It's probably about that. It is, the length is, it's 4 meters. That sounds totally wrong. 4 meters? It's not 3.95 meters long, right? Is that right, actually? That's probably right, actually. That's probably right. Yeah, it actually, yeah. So this thing is 3.85 meters long, with the Miata is 3.95, so it's, you know, 10 centimeters, I guess, shorter than the Miata. Wheelbase is probably, you know, the same as the Miata. It's not really changed. Pretty beefy tires, though. What are they? 245s in the rear, and 225s in the front. Pretty good stacker there. Sports compound. The wheels, I think the wheels match pretty well. I don't know if I take them 100% of this. Something like this, like that. That's okay. A little too expensive though. Little man, I think these are suited the best. Back end is a bit, yeah, Fiat 124 headlights. Got the name Squire here with like some cool little emblem going through it. I don't know. That would look kind of cool. Something different. Lots of black plastic. That, you know, this car is, you know, the black or the darker colors, the gray makes it look more aggressive in my opinion. So, you know, black cladding and whatnot everywhere. Some, you know, grills in the back. They may or may not be useful. Maybe just be for show. Not really sure. Spoiler here, actually, it's kind of glitching out on some things. That's okay. It's nothing perfect. You get the idea of the spoilers right there. Single exhaust, even though the exhaust is actually right there. One single, that would come out right here preferably, but There's what I have that. Kind of silly, actually. It'd be dual exhaust, maybe then. We could do that. It's like a Porsche. Thing is, it just sticks so crazy far. You know, we'll keep that there. I'm not sure if I'm sold on that. Like a single low-lit exhaust, basically. But I think the name square looks pretty cool. Soft top black and yellow is the theme I'm going for. You know, the grill is a bit of chrome, or like black chrome almost, which is cool. So we got the actual brake lights here. There's a turn signal in there in the corner still. Then down here you got another turn signal. Because I didn't want to make this just like a brake light. I'm not even sure if a brake light can be one individual or two separate lights. It's fine. This is the reverse light. Sorry, that's what I meant. Reverse light, turn signal, brake lights, and then a third brake light. You know, like overall, I'm pretty satisfied with this. We got the sides kind of plain here. That's why I decided to add this, and I still think it's pretty plain. I'm not the best at making design or side stuff because this is just. This in general, even this is just deep. It's just a deep grill. I don't like it that much, but I needed something there. I think the Sport looks okay. It might need to be actually angled, like you know, like that. I think it's fine as is. Yellow mirrors. You got the black plastic sort of door. Black. I don't want to call it plastic. It's probably not plastic. The black, you know, colored door handle that sort of goes, you know, out against the edge of the door here. I could have made it like, you know, a regular door handle. I think this looks pretty cool though. Well, overall, very satisfied with the rear, I think. I'm 8 out of 10 satisfied with the back end. This little unsatisfied with. And I'm probably 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 satisfied with the front. Side, that's okay. I'm not the best at making side profile stuff. Like, from the back this looks good, from the front this looks good. That's the most important things. Fine. Side, it's okay. Overall, the specs of the car, so suspension, actually I didn't tune the suspension at all. I don't think I did at all. Now, I want to go over how to properly set up, like, you know, custom tune your suspension. But for 95% of what we're doing, presets work. Presets, we'll do sport, not race, of course. Race is very stiff. You know, normal or sport. Sport it is. What do we have for right? 6.5 inches. Right, a little lower. The weight of the car, so 2554. So 2555 weight. Light. I think the Miata is 26. I'll double check. I'll check it. You know, for BeamNG. Overall, car pretty happy. Efficiency is 25%, which is okay. Efficiency. It's not great. Person's actually quite low for you know, a non-turbo engine. I think they get 11 to 1 turbo engines now, and 34 mpg. One thing we didn't change actually is the any aero and stuff. Actually, I'm gonna change that right now too. So I'll just go over a brief thing of aero. So when this yellow line goes above the red, you're gonna have oversteer. So what that means, so right now we're looking at, so if your car's going fast, right now if the car is going, you know, 180 kilometers an hour, you're gonna have oversteer, which is, you don't want that. You want to be stable at high speeds. You want to be neutral, because oversteer is when the back end kicks out. Understeer is when the front end sort of plows it. Yeah, those gears are very short. Not terrible though. It's slow. .2. It's quite loud actually, the car itself. Sounds great though. See it cruising around. Look at that. Looks very angry. Looks very aggressive. Yeah, we spun up. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, those gears are so short. That's crazy. Oh wow, that suspension's very stiff. Maybe too stiff. It's too late to change it now, but that's okay. Almost sounds like a dirt bike actually. It's kind of sad. It sounds good though. Like a Boxer's engine sounds good. I wish it had like no. I wish it had like no exhaust on or anything. Just to be very loud. Look, cruising at 100 kilometers an hour, which is like, you know, most of the high speed limit. We're cruising at about 4,500 RPM. That's pretty. It's pretty loud. Pretty loud. I'm not gonna lie. Come on. Oh yeah, it likes to rev. It doesn't go anything. It doesn't go anywhere, but it likes to rev. Oh wow, he is tail happy. It definitely seems like it'd be the Porsche Cayman or 718 Boxster, whatever you want to call it, like a Boxster would be the Roadster version. Is it Roadster still? Yeah, it's a Roadster, we'll say. It'd be a Boxster Miata competitor, I'd say, maybe. Alfa Romeo 4C, maybe. Another something competitor, or an Alpine. An Alpine, I forget what it's called. I gotta remember that. What it's called. Oh yeah, I should have ring it out. Oh yeah, we're gonna blow the engine. Just oh yeah, we're stopping. We'll back up here. Turn the traction control on just to see how that goes, but it probably won't be as fun. Oh yeah, it's just still controlling the traction control. I don't like that at all. It's safe. I'll give it that though. Oh, you can't even do a handbrake. You can't even do a power slider thing. It sucks. It feels very nimble. It feels balanced. That feels like it. That's honestly like, I mean, honestly, it's hard to describe a car in a video game compared to a car in real life. The car itself feels pretty balanced. Come on. Gosh, that traction control band is so intrusive. Yeah, I think first gear is more like a starting gear. You're not gonna use it ever unless you're stopping and starting. It's just so low. No. Last thing we gotta have to check now, just if it can do burnouts. That's the last test really we have. Didn't think so. It can't do burnouts, but can it do donuts? That's my question. That's another good question. Just cruising along, nice and 6th gear at 120 kilometers an hour. Oh, that sound it makes is just. It sounds pretty good. You I don't think I've ever driven a car with a box wrench, never. So. I've been in cars with box wrenches, obviously. You do donuts with no traction control because it's rear-wheel drive and it's light, so. Yeah, no burnouts. Looks very good. Actually, it looks probably honestly as good in BeamNG as it does in automation. Looks like it can almost be a BeamNG car, you know, like looks wise. I think it doesn't look crazy out of place. Looks wild, look at that. It was do a top speed run in this dragster port mount. And we'll just see what we can do, and that'll be it. And again, if you guys have ideas for more vehicles, comments down below are always appreciated. And I will be working on the tutorial for suspension in my next video. So that's gonna be the next video. It's just how to set up your suspension properly in automation. I mean slash BeamNG drive, I guess, but that'll be the next video. 180, 179. I braked at the end there because I was gonna see if we can try to even stop it. And it let's just see what it looks like. Let's wow, look at that. Look at that back end go down. Look at that front end go up, man. Holy crap. Very aggressive. Very aggressive gearing. Very high performance gearing. Even watching 6 it'll do too. Yeah, it does. Brakes are pretty good. I use the brake there. .110 brakes, no e-brake. Not pretty well. I think it's a pretty good car overall. Definitely an enthusiast vehicle, but for 40 grand, you know, in Canada at least, 40 grand can get you a pretty nice Mustang. But, you know, Mustang's not going to handle like this would on a track, probably. I mean, this is not a real car, I can't tell for sure. But, you know, I'm assuming this car would be probably as good as the Miata on track, if not better, because it's probably lighter. I just want to see. Let's see the weight. That's the last thing we'll check. Is the weight of a Mazda Miata. Mazda Miata weight. 960 kilograms. Okay, well, I use pounds. Because I don't really know what a kilogram is. 2,100 pounds? A new Miata can't weigh 2,100 pounds. 2,300 pounds. That seems better. The weight distribution is not 50-50 though. So the estimate, yeah, okay, it is lighter than my car. That's okay. That's okay. That car's got style. That's what it's got. Miata looks good actually. I mean, the real life Miata looks fine. This thing just looks pretty well looking. Not bad. Not bad. Anyways, guys, I think that's it for this episode on how to build Miata. No, on automation BeamNG drive with Rye. So the next video that's coming is going to be, yeah, suspension setup video. Set up your suspension properly. That'll be coming in a few days, so make sure to stick around then. And then probably a few days after that, I'll have another car video. If you have ideas, leave in the comments down below. I'm thinking maybe I could do 2020 supercar. I like making 2020 cars. 2020 cars are fun because, you know, you can do whatever you want for looks, basically. After that, or I'm thinking of another 1990s or late 80s, early 90s, probably like a 1990 on the dot. A pickup truck. It's gonna be a performance pickup truck. I like performance vehicles. Performance one. So a super pickup, basically, or whatever you want to call it, a sport truck. So that's unless it's like a Ford Lightning or the GMC Typhoon or the GMC Typhoon and the GMC Cyclone. Cyclone Typhoon combination and the Ford Lightning of the competitor for that, or maybe like or a 60s performance pickup truck like the Dodge Little Red Express, which is like the first performance pickup truck. If you don't know what those are, if you're a European watching this, America had these performance pickup trucks from the 60s and so on. So performance pickup truck, rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, I'm not sure. Either in the 60s or the 80s, that's on my list to do at some point. I also want to do a modern pickup truck, just a plain old modern pickup truck, maybe performance too, I don't know, maybe just probably a regular modern pickup truck for towing, you know? A supercar, new supercar, 90s supercar, a 1970s supercar. What else is on the list here? I think a mid-2000s SUV, sort of like a Porsche Cayenne, or yeah, like a Cayenne competitor. Ugly. I think Cayenne's ugly. Personally, Cayenne's ugly. A Cayenne competitor would be nice, kind of cool. I think I had one or... Oh, and also a modern luxury sedan, like a BMW M5 3 Series, or 1 Series. I love the 1 Series. Not the new one, not the next generation, the current generation, because the next... Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Sorry about the rant. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like or comment down below, either or. Feedback is always appreciated. Make sure to check out my cars on Reddit. I post on the automation Reddit every second day. I'll post the, you know, just join the automation Reddit if you're not already there. And if you're already there, then check out my cars. I post there every second day or so. Here, 2 days or something. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time.